Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is Welcome to Plathville, Season 7, Episode 9, The First Kiss. Zach and Lydia finally say I do and share their first kiss. However, beyond their loving gaze, tensions continue to simmer at the wedding. An unexpected confrontation leaves Lydia and Zach at odds with Ethan and Isaac, and Veronica's reclusive nature proves difficult for Micah.
If that doesn't sound exciting enough, we also have a special guest joining us today.
We have Mrskickstand, Lindsay.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes.
I'm excited that we're doing a recap together because last time we were just kind of shooting the shit a little bit about the new year.
New Year's Eve special.
Yeah, I feel like I want to go back and listen to that because, my brain does not remember half of what I said and see if any of it came true.
Well, it was like, a mad rush at the end of the year there. That was just a total spur of the moment. I think we thought of that like 3 weeks before. So there was a ton of work that went into it. But yeah.
Yes.
We're not the best at planning.
A part of that. And so, yeah, the inaugural episode of that. But what an episode we have today to talk about. The First Kiss, which I've been singing, which song have I been singing in my head all day then? This kiss, right? This kiss.
I was like,
this
I don't know.
kiss.
What
This
one?
kiss, this kiss.
Yes.
It's criminal. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Was it criminal this episode?
There was some criminal activity in this episode, but I don't think it was
yeah.
the kiss, though.
No.
No. The kiss could have been way worse, if we're being totally honest. Like, I've seen some bad, like, homeschool first kisses.
Cue John David and Abby Duggar's wedding.
Yeah.
You say the TLC audience is very accustomed to a fundy first kiss, so
Yeah.
this was not maybe as shocking as they had hoped it would be for us.
They love a fundy first kiss. They do.
But with this, the whole move, too. It was like a choreographed event that took place. I wasn't really prepared for all that, but it seemed to match up with the rest of the day.
Yeah.
They left us on a cliffhanger in the last episode where we knew there was going to be some sort of confrontation that was going to take place after the wedding rehearsal, and they did not film it. But did that disappoint you as much as it disappointed us?
So I feel like I was extremely disappointed that they didn't film it because what Kim said happened during the confrontation and what Ethan and Isaac were saying during the confrontation, I don't think their stories line up.
No.
As far as how the confrontation went down.
And actually, Lydia just posted something about it as well, addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it sounds like Mama Plath's version of the story that we got last episode was that she saw red flags, and that those red flags were that, Zach was kind of taking control of things. He was usurping Lydia in certain circumstances. And Lydia said, Mama never said that to me.
Never brought it up.
No.
So
as those concerns, if this was the reason for this conversation, it feels like the actual reason was because Ethan and Isaac still felt that Zach was gay, even though they'd asked him directly. He had told them that he is, in fact, not gay because he is marrying Lydia, and that's what he's doing here. But that's still not good enough for them, and they're upset about this. I think not having the cameras there was just a bigger part of controlling that narrative, though.
It was a scheme.
Yeah.
it was a scandal.
Definitely.
For sure. And I feel like, how many times do we have to confront them before their wedding day? And then let's do it the night before they get wedding. Let's call Lydia over. Let's corner her in a room. And for the 100th time in 3 months, tell her that we're concerned about this wedding.
Horrible.
Well, the fact
Absolutely
it was horrible to do to someone the night before their wedding. That is not the time to bring up concerns. that you've had the entire 3 months.
Well, and to say that, like, oh, Lydia, you need to have this conversation with your family alone and, like, remove Zach from that conversation, too. I think it said a lot about Zach to kind of force his way back into that, of saying he probably overheard what was going on and what the discussion was. Oh,
it wasn't a quiet conversation. They were screaming at her.
Yeah, I'm
you can't
sure.
Convince me otherwise.
So, like, hearing that and then stepping in to say, hey, I feel like I deserve to be a part of this conversation too, because it sounds like a lot of this conversation is your concerns about me. So why wouldn't I be a part of that conversation too? And they have to say, oh, that's just him being ridiculous of trying to involve himself in this stuff again.
I feel like Zach is at this point damned if he do and damned if he doesn't. Because if he wouldn't have stepped in, they would have been like, well, he's a weak man for not, having Lydia's back. But then because he stepped in, then he became a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he was trying to be controlling.
And what blew my mind was Kim was like, I told Lydia that if she wanted Isaac and Ethan at her wedding, that she needed to go in there and talk to them. How manipulative can you be?
Mm-hmm.
She was so proud of it too. Like, she didn't even clock that blackmailing to have your brothers be part of your wedding is not a bad thing or a negative thing. Like, this is a good outcome that is going to stem from this.
I would have been like, bye, don't come.
That's what
our
we
said
take.
Too. She really thought she ate with that. And it was like, you just proved how emotionally immature you are. And exactly like everything that Olivia had said about Kim and how sneaky she is and things that she kind of did behind the camera that we didn't know about, that's a great example of one of the reasons why people have an issue with Kim Plath.
Full display.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cherry on top, though, was when Ethan was like, well, I don't judge anybody for their sexuality at all. I don't have any problem with people and the gayness, but I just can't get over it.
Here's what I've been saying, and this is my motto in life. There is nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being trans. There's nothing wrong with living your best life. What is wrong with people is if you're a piece of shit person.
Right.
And for Ethan to get on camera, I'm like, oh, this was way before those videos came out. Just completely annihilating anything he says.
Yep. And also, when somebody comes to you and says, hey, no, I'm actually not gay, and then you continue to want to die on the hill that they are, that does make you homophobic.
Yeah.
That you
100%.
think you know someone else's sexuality better than the person who lives within their own body and mind. Like,
and also, not to cut you off, but to bring it up 100 times.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Keep bringing it up.
Which was funny to me because of the videos that Olivia released where she said he would not stop talking about these things. He would harp on them for hours and I'd be done with the conversation and he'd still be going. That's a great example. Again, like here we are where he's already been told to put this to rest and he's still bringing it up again.
Correct.
He really has a hyperfixation on people's sexuality and it's weird.
And it's gross because then after all of that, he's like, I hope that they have, what did he say? He said, I hope that they have passionate sex for their entirety of marriage on both ends. It's like, dude, stop. It's disgusting.
Also, the very weird thing to say about your sibling.
Kind of weird.
Yes.
Kind of weird.
Like,
for being honest.
If I found out my sibling said that, like, I'm different. I would have thrown hands, but like, I would have been like, okay, well, they want to talk to me and corner me in a room and try to get this idea that they've brewed into their head that my soon-to-be husband's gay. Well, then they don't have to come because I don't need that.
Well, Isaac kept harping on the fact too, where he was upset that Zach just seems to speak for Lydia. That was what, if you ask Lydia something and then Zach will jump in, but from the video evidence that we've seen in the interviews that they've done on, outside of the show too.
Very other way around.
Seems like Lydia usually tends to speak for Zach in most circumstances. So I don't know if she's overcompensating now to kind of put that to rest. If that was a concern that was very specific that they voiced and now she's just kind of, going overboard with the response to that.
I would say that Lydia, due to the fact that she is the literal middle child of the Plath family, hand the girl a microphone. She's got stuff to say. And I love that for her. And that was something that I thought of if we see Lydia on all these interviews and she's the one mostly talking because it's about her family, then why are you sitting here saying that Zach speaks for her? Because Lydia talks more than Zach on this show combined. And I feel like maybe Zach was just feeling like he had to stick up for himself because for the 100th time he's being accused of his sexuality or taking over things. And then with Lydia's post that she posted today about how they made these wedding decisions together, like I don't think that's true what they're saying, what Isaac's saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Zach speaks for Lydia. Well, maybe Zach has something to say. People are allowed to talk. That's how a conversation works.
Also, Lydia's not very good at confrontation. So
No.
I'd imagine that she may have just shut down during that. So he kind of took the lead on trying to figure out how are we going to work through this with your family attacking me the night before our wedding?
Right.
Us. Yeah. Like me, but then us kind of as part of that. Clearly they're not supporting moving forward with the wedding then if
No.
this is how they feel the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the Barry commentary? Because Barry was there for all of this.
Thank you. That's what my question is. Why didn't Barry step in?
He did, because that was part of Kim's recounting of what happened.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
like, who was at the porch at different times, or like who was inside, who was on the porch. And so there was like a rotation, but yeah, we didn't hear it from Barry.
I just
No.
question because Barry's been, at least in front of the cameras, extremely supportive of Zach and Lydia. So
Right.
was he taken off guard by the fact that they were having this very serious conversation, not supporting them the night before the wedding? Like, it was odd that we got nothing from him, even though he was there and was a witness.
Right. Nothing. And maybe they did and they cut it out because, you can edit all of that out. But I would think that, and my thing is that it's very obvious that Barry knows Zach more than Kim, Ethan, and Isaac combined because Barry's taken the time to get to know Zach. Whereas I feel like a lot of the Platts feel like everyone has to come up to them and start the conversation. And I don't know if that's just something how Kim and Barry raised them. Like, people come to you to conversate, you don't have to go to them. But like, I really wish we would have gotten some of Barry's commentary, but I feel like also Barry has been the most supportive of this wedding. And I feel like if he did say something on camera, because Lydia said something, Kim said something, Ethan said something, Isaac said something, Zach said something, but Barry, there was no interview of Barry talking about any of that. I feel like he's just was probably like no comment because he wants to remain like the better Plath parent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He did have, I mean, just as like his takeaway from the assessment of Lydia and Zach together, I think that was in last week's episode, was when everybody was talking about all the things that they didn't like about Zach, because that was Kim and Ethan and Isaac who were complaining about
Right.
all of these things. And then Barry was like, he makes Lydia feel seen. He makes Lydia feel special. It's like all these things that he was able to see that Zach does in their relationship that is very good and supportive and constructive. And so for Barry to be able to see that, and then everybody else, like, I don't like to defend Barry in any circumstance at all. But like, here we are, he seems to be understanding at least that, yes, this is a connection that these two people have, and he's happy to see them end up together.
Right. And I think Barry's been truly honest as much as he can be on the show, whether he's being rude or not, because he's like owned up things in the past. Like, yeah, I've said that. And I feel like whatever Isaac's seeing in the house is not what Barry's seeing. And maybe Isaac's just starting a problem because we all know that Kim got her information on the supposed not cleaning or helping from Isaac, which means that Ethan also got it from Isaac.
Yeah.
But if Barry's saying the completely opposite thing of what Isaac's saying, and Isaac works full time and has a girlfriend, I'm not really going to believe what Isaac's saying.
Yeah.
And
I
plus,
mean, for Barry's standards, what would Barry's standards be for helping
He's
out
used
around the
to
house?
Lydia doing everything.
he's used to, yeah.
So it's like par for the course. It's pretty standard as far as there hasn't really been a big shakeup or a change that's been noticeable.
No.
I've really felt that they have made up a number of things to try to defend not liking Zach when it really just comes down to them questioning his sexuality.
100%.
And they didn't want to bring it up on camera again, even though they kind of inadvertently admitted to that being the exact case, even though they didn't film that. But
well, Lydia did.
Yeah.
Lydia's the one who told us that's what they brought up. The rest
Right.
of them didn't say anything as far as what the details of the conversation were.
The subject matter.
On purpose.
Yeah.
No,
Intentionally.
Lydia's like, they just can't get over the fact that they think he's gay.
Right.
Lovely.
Ugh.
Zach, unsurprisingly, not so great. Not really starting off in a great foot with the family and wants an apology from them.
Uh-oh.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
And here's the thing. He wants an apology. He's like, the night before your sister's wedding, and you're not supportive, and you're, doing this, this, and this. And he's like, and there's damage to the relationships. And I was like, holy shit, that's what Olivia said on camera, and also Veronica. And look what happened there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You're never going to get an apology.
No.
Just forget that.
And what Lydia said, which really irritated me for her, is that it was either Access or Us Weekly, where they were like, well, we went to Ethan a couple weeks ago, 6 months after the wedding, a couple weeks ago, and said that we were really bothered by this, this, and this, and he apologized. Like, he wasn't going to apologize on his own, and to do it 6 months later tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. Was it a letter from Mariah too? If it took 6 months?
Micah, make him write a letter.
A hand-drafted letter?
I have a theory that that's because it's going to be part of the storyline of season 8.
If they were to get another season, I could see like the fallout from all of the actual damage that they've caused to Lydia and Zach, because Lydia making a post like she did today is very out of character for her to speak out, even in the nicest way possible, against her family and say, we did this together and this and that. I think that would be an incredible storyline for them to harp on for season 8, but also very boring.
I just find it suspicious because the filming time between the last season 5, and wait, what is this? This is season 7.
6
so
and
6
7.
and 7 was 6 months. And they've mentioned a few different Plaths have mentioned that they haven't talked to another family member in that entire time period. It's like they only talk when the cameras show back up.
And that tells me everything I need to know.
Very interesting. Real question. Was Veronica intentionally burning Micah's scalp with the curling iron?
So as somebody who went to hair school, those wands and curling irons are really hot.
Yeah.
Was she intentionally burning him? I don't think so. I think that he was kind of being a little bit of a baby about it. Like, oh, you're burning me. And she's like the wand's not even close to his head that much. And he's like, you're burning me. She has a glove on. She's like, I'm not. It's the heat radiating off the wand. Like, she probably had that thing all the way turned up. Did she intentionally burn him? No. But if there was an accident, like, yeah, it hurts. I get it. But I don't think she was trying to. I think there was worse things in this episode that Veronica did than burning Micah's scalp.
Well, we laughed because every time we kept trying to analyze to take a closer look when she would get close as she started rolling it down, and then they would cut away. And so we were like, maybe they knew.
Ooh.
Like, we were going to be looking close on this one. They knew we were going to check it.
Was he applying Neosporin before they went to the wedding? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
If we see like a shiny, when I rewatch it for the live on Tuesday, if I see like a shiny spot with like a red spot under it, then I'm like, yeah, she burned him on purpose for sure.
He would know if he got burnt. That's for sure.
He'd be screaming a lot more than he was.
So luckily their efforts to try to derail the wedding do not work. And Lydia is just excited to make another positive, happy memory on the family farm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that she does have a lot of great memories on the farm, but there's some really bad memories on the farm too.
Yes.
Like her whole existential crisis when she was praying herself into a frenzy basically at the end of season 1 because the family's falling apart and she doesn't know what to do. And dear God, help me through this. Like, I don't know how to navigate this.
To every fence until she reached to the edge of the property.
Oh my gosh. So
Poor
like
girl.
it was just maybe like there are good memories here. Maybe she's trying to rewrite some of
Hmm.
that experience now, exchange some of the memories with better memories now, but now you have memories of your family berating you the night before your wedding. So
Right.
are we going to block that out?
I I would hope. I feel like because she's non-confrontational, I think the idea of having the wedding on the farm is to create a better memory than a lot of the ones that she has. But at the same time, the farm is also technically a wedding venue. So why would we do it anywhere else when it's the family business? Because Kim, I think it's like named the Silver something retreat or rain, Silver Rain retreat, but they do weddings. So she probably just saved a lot of money and she's like, "Oh, I'm having my wedding where I grew up," which is cute. I mean, it looked beautiful, but like at the same time, it's like, but it's also a wedding venue.
And
Like,
Kim
let's not.
can take all the photos and put
Yep.
them on the family website.
Well, yeah, and
Marketing.
she'll
Yeah.
charge you a site fee is what it's going to come down to
She
as well.
charged Zach and
100%.
Lydia.
She'll bill it back to the show, but like, yeah, I mean, Mama Plath needs her cut, you know?
She called the producer. She's like, just make sure that the part that was filmed for the wedding is sent to my, like that money sent to my account because I need to put those photos
Right,
up
yeah.
on the website.
She's got to replace the ones that she made Olivia take.
100%. The demons photos is on the website. We need to get them off.
So they're getting ready to head over to the wedding, and Micah is worried that Veronica is going to start some type of problem.
He
Which,
uh, he has the cast wrong. The casting is
yeah,
wrong though. He's worried about Veronica and Mariah, and it's like, no, 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 no. We're way past that now.
yeah, I think he's at this point, he's more worried about Veronica and Tegan, but also I would be more concerned about your brothers.
Yeah, they're really trying to refocus the issues that are taking place on, they're putting the spotlight on Veronica when
Hmm.
they're the ones we know who are going to cause the big problem that's going to happen at this wedding.
The mayhem.
Correct. Correct. And not saying that Veronica's innocent in this episode at all, and we're going to get into that, but I feel like because they're so enmeshed with each other, they can't fathom that anything that any of the siblings were to do on the wedding day wouldn't be a terrible thing. And that's so backwards. But let's
Hmm.
focus on Veronica and Tegan and the fact that the whole only OF thing kind of just throws me for a loop because it's like Veronica told Micah that she saw an article, then either Micah called Ethan or Ethan called Micah or something gray happened there that we're not getting the full story on because nobody has the same story. But now it's Veronica's fault because she said something about Tegan.
Yeah, they've made it sound like the article never existed and that it was just something that Veronica made up to start a problem.
Which I don't think, because if you scroll on Facebook, all of those fake fan pages come up with the most outlandish rumors. I mean, they were like Cody and Robin were, from Sister Wives were kicked off the show, and clearly they're not, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it could have just been something like that, which Veronica then, I mean, who doesn't talk to their spouse when they see something juicy on the internet?
You got to let him
Yes.
know.
Yeah, you
It
got to be
should have
up to
stayed
speed,
between them instead of
but it would
him.
never.
No.
Right. And we've seen that Micah turns around very quickly to go tell Ethan things, just like when he
Mhm.
found out about Veronica talking to Olivia on the phone.
Oh, yeah. So quick.
Mm.
Well, she's calling Tegan a slut now. So we're not really off to a great start.
No. And I don't like that. I don't like name calling, and I do think that if you are going to go on the internet and say that you were bullied and you were name called by this family, to turn around and then by extension of the family call one of the brothers' girlfriends a slut is wild to me
Yeah.
because that's when you kind of lose, like, not even kind of, that's when you lose me because
Mhm.
and I feel like when I do my recaps I'm pretty fair, and I've called Olivia out 100 times on the show and that hasn't affected anything, and I've called Veronica out, but I'm like, how can you sit there? I understand, I don't know what the big deal is of her having an OF or had an OF is, and they've never really dived into why Veronica's so mad that she does. I have an inkling, but at the same time, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wedding.
Oh yeah.
Like, why are we bringing this up today?
And if you're upset about anything, why not frame it as you're upset about the fact that she's not presenting herself as who she really is? Because that's the
Right.
problem with everybody on this show. The whole Plath
Mm-hmm.
family is pretending to be people that they're not really in real life.
But if anything, you're just going to make her more endearing to the Plaths. Like that was what
Right.
Kim's head whipped around so fast when she was last week when she found out about it and she was like, "Wait, do you have one?"
Right.
Because like that would be so cool. I need so much help.
I could use some advice.
Oh, I need so much
How
help.
did
with
you
mine.
like her next question would be like, how much does it pay?
Yeah.
You know what I
What's
mean?
the rate?
What do you make
What's
per
the-
month?
Right. And do you think I could do it with my feet? Which please don't. Kim, if you ever hear this, please.
No.
That's just something that we don't need.
No, thank you. No.
No, that'll go down in history with the Mary Banana photo if we ever get a Kim
No.
Plath foot photo.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes I like to block that out of my brain and then it gets brought back up and I'm like, oh, Mary.
Never live that one down.
Yeah, but what was interesting in the car was they glossed over that part they they were like, let's make a bet on who's going to get mad first. And Micah's like, well, we know who's going to get mad first. It's going to be Ethan and Isaac.
Yeah,
And
true.
I was like,
because
true.
they have so much pent up anger.
Yeah.
Like, go therapy is so beneficial. Like,
Yeah,
there's
they need
something
to
there
learn
that
that.
that you got, talking to somebody helps sometimes, guys. It's okay.
It's just the constant retreating to the garage seems to be Ethan's go-to for every time he's upset here. So I don't know if he's like sneaking some handies from Tegan in the
Maybe.
garage or like, something to release the pressure here a little bit, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just
I think him being in the garage is a reminder that when things get hard for Ethan, that's where he ends up, no matter who he's with.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that was the gender affirming car that we had last week. And then we kind of had a little bit of that this week too. It's just they have to be near a truck, they have to, smell a diesel engine
To remind themselves. Mhm.
yeah, like I'm
Everything's gonna be okay.
I'm getting too in touch with my emotions. I'm feeling things, and so now I need to block that out.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, they get there and Amber makes sure to say hello to Veronica just to kind of cover her bases, but she is surprised that she's there. So was it really left up in the air that long? Like maybe they thought that they ran her off at the rehearsal by not talking to her much?
Here's the thing. I don't think the way that Veronica acted at the rehearsal was terrible.
No.
And I kind of told a story about like an experience. Oh my God, I'm turning into Cody Brown. Something that happened in my past where I didn't want to stand near my ex's family at an event, but she wasn't yelling, she wasn't screaming, she wasn't causing a scene. She was just, even though Micah left, she was just standing there. And she even like said it. She was like, yeah, she's like, yesterday was fine between me and Micah, even though he left, But then Amber like went up to her. Kim said hi to her. The younger sisters said hi to her. And then Amber was like, well, I just wanted to say hi to Veronica so that like there was nothing going on between me and her during the wedding. And I thought that was very telling because interviews are usually filmed after they're done filming. So what you're telling me is Amber and Amber's a minor, so I try to tread lightly because I don't think that anything that she said or done is wrong. But she's like, I had to go say hi to Veronica so that there was no bad blood between me and her today.
Well, she
And
knew
Amber's
that
like, leave me out.
she knew Veronica had that switchblade in the car. She saw it on last week's
episode.
episode at the rehearsal. So it's like, hey, just want to make sure we're good,
Right.
Like, because the way that Mama Plath was sneaking up on them too, she was lurking behind them and just like
Yes.
crept up behind them, popped out from behind the cars, and it's like, be careful. She's jumpy now. Like if you startle Veronica, you can end up with a whole other set of problems on your hands, I think, at this point.
Yeah. Kim coming out of the shadows every time there was a conversation going on was what had me cracking up. Like she's lurking in the back listening to what's going on.
Oh yeah.
100%. She's like me when there's a new article that comes out. Like I just peek out of the corner. I'm like, hey, What are we talking about,
It's
guys?
that meme of the guy leaning around the tree and like rubbing his hands together,
Yeah,
just
like,
oh, I can't wait to
yeah.
get involved in this.
Like waiting for her moment where she's like, "Hello, darlings. What are we talking about? I heard my name." Like,
I feel like she was trying to gather intel a little bit too.
Yeah.
Let the
yeah, so
boys
she can.
know what's the vibe today with Veronica.
Well, like I said in my recap, I call it the manipulation
Oh
triangulation
yeah.
because she manipulated both Ethan and Isaac to do her dirty work for her
Yep.
in this little triangle of manipulation. Like Ethan and Isaac don't see that Kim is using them as pawns in her game.
Well, and then you see that too. Like Ethan
Hmm.
is so proud to run back to Kim to tell her like anything that he does because later on, like when he
Hmm.
says stuff, he has a confrontation with Veronica, and he's very
Yeah.
quick to go tell Mama Plath immediately about what he just did.
Hmm. What upset me about this episode the most is, and this is what I said last week, is that if TLC thought this wedding was an important episode to showcase the love between Zach and Lydia, they would have given them a wedding special.
Hmm.
That's
Like they did
interesting.
for like they did for the Duggars, like they did for Christine, like they did for even Robin season one, or yeah, season one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I no, it's one, where they did the whole wedding episode.
Yeah.
And with the Duggars, they used to like film their weddings, and then like a month later they dropped the wedding special
Right.
so that everybody could watch it. The TLC cameras were there to pick up on any of the drama going on outside of Zach and Lydia's big day.
That's what was sad because every person who was there was trying to make it about themselves. Mariah
Correct.
tried to make it about herself. Ethan tried to make it about himself. Isaac's trying to make it about himself. Mama Plath's
Hmm.
trying to make it about herself. I mean, Veronica,
Veronica.
you name it.
Hmm.
They all made their drama and whatever they were upset about be the
The
center
forefront.
of everything that was going on.
How much of that do
Correct.
you think got to Lydia and Zach though? Because I mean, every time they kept cutting to them this episode, whether it's they're taking photos or they're having their
Hmm.
first look moment, or they're having photos in the woods after the
Hmm.
ceremony where they are finally able to kiss and stuff, and so it's just like there's the different parts where it seemed like they were kind of removed from a lot of that drama at the time, and it seems like Lydia was like finding out some of this stuff by either hearing about what happened on the show or watching
Hmm.
the episodes based on that post. So like how much of this do you think that they were aware of during the actual time versus after the
After.
fact?
I would say, obviously, okay, so the way that the edits are, it makes them seem like they are blissfully unaware of all the crap going on outside of their small bubble of just the two of them. And I hope that is what the case is, because that would make sense as to why when they cut to Zach and Lydia, they're running through the field or they're taking all their photos and their first look and they're in the woods taking more photos and they're just so in love with each other. You could really see the love that they have for each other just radiate this day. But it was like you 1 minute there's an argument, the next minute it's Zach and Lydia, like just blissfully unaware. And I would think that with the way that they're coming out with interviews now and podcasts and Instagram posts, that they're really finding everything out that happened because they both said they're really not watching this season. They're finding out everything from the comment sections,
Hmm.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah.
which would be terrible. But I mean, and I understand they don't want to watch the episodes as to not, ruin their memories of the day. But I feel like that's just giving the Platts a pass for their behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
last week, even too, like during the setup when Ethan was throwing the tables around and Zach kind of casually mentioned it to Lydia, where,
Hmm.
oh, Ethan likes to make his noise. And then
Hmm.
she just turns around and goes, yeah, well, we'll let him do that. And it's like, well, I think that's the problem, is just allowing all of this stuff to continue. It's like a
Hmm.
permissible thing where we've just glossed over it. We're not going to address it. We're not going to talk about it, and
We're just gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
just let it keep happening. And then until we move past it and move on.
Yeah. I think it just has to boil down to they don't do confrontation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We needed a housewife here. We
Oh,
needed
yeah.
Meredith Marks to
Definitely.
say, you can
Yes.
leave.
You can leave.
I mean, and they were rental tables too. Like those poor tables did not deserve any of that. Like justice for the tables because
Justice.
Kimmy's going to have to start an OnlyFans just to pay for them.
Yeah.
The ones that were damaged.
Probably.
probably.
Replacements.
Yeah.
The dress. Any thoughts on the dress that Lydia ultimately picked?
So I thought that all of the dresses she tried on a couple episodes ago were absolutely stunning on her. I mean, she didn't try on one dress that didn't look absolutely beautiful on her, but I think the dress that she finalized with like the ruching on top, it kind of looked like, but it wasn't like strapless because she had her straps. It was very Lydia. It was very princess getting married on her wedding day, frolicking through the fields, and it was beautiful. I loved it. I think that any dress she would have chose would have looked amazing on her.
Yeah, agreed. I just felt like you said, some of the other ones were so, like they looked so good on her that I was a little disappointed in the one that she ended up choosing, but it was fitting with her personality.
100%. I mean, the little flounce, the flowy sleeves, but I just keep thinking back to that one, the strapless that she had where they added those little like drape sleeves.
Yeah.
But also I think back to it's February, end
Yeah.
of February in South Georgia, where like the United States had like the coldest, snowiest winter. And how are they like outside?
I looked up the temperature because I had to know. It was
what
64 degrees.
Which I mean,
So it wasn't
that's
that
not-
bad, but it
with the
was
sun, like you could do okay in the sun, but like it could get chilly probably. for
And it was
Georgia.
probably a drier cold because I live in Southeast Virginia, so we don't get cold until like November, end of November, and even then it's like 60s. But it's like a drier cold. It's not like that humidity cold. So it was probably so cold because like everybody seemed to be wrapped up, and I'm like, how is everybody walking around in strapless dresses in February?
Well, Tegan had an
Everything around
interesting
them is
cut too.
yeah,
yeah.
and black.
The girls were on display.
The
That was
girls
for
were out.
sure. You know, I
Mhm.
I want to tread lightly on this. I just think if I was accused of having an OF page, I think I maybe would have questioned when I looked in the mirror if that was what I wanted to wear to a wedding.
Fueling that rumor.
Yes.
Almost.
Well, she
But I
did.
also understand it's hard when you have big boobs.
Well, okay, and then
100%.
she countered it too. She had the cross necklace to accompany, so that I think that cancels out a good portion of it too.
It cancels the neckline.
It made
out.
it okay.
Yeah,
cross
yeah,
necklace.
yeah.
Which was what the dress was like. It was a cute dress for February winter wedding. That gave more of a summer vibe off for me. As long as she was happy and comfortable in it, that's all that matters. What I thought was interesting is that we've seen Tegan wear a lot of like blue and white this season and green, and then Ethan's had like his season 7 uniform with his black t-shirt, the jeans, the belt, and the boots, and they like switched. Ethan was wearing like a gray suit, and then she was wearing black, and I was like, they didn't even coordinate.
Well, I thought, yeah, for a second when he came out in his suit, I was like, where is the top hat and where is the cane? And where will Isaac get his orange one to match? Because I thought they were doing like a
yeah.
Harry and Lloyd Dumb and Dumber setup here.
They don't know who that is.
I don't think they know who that is, which
No.
would only make that better to say, here's what I want you guys to wear to my wedding.
Yes.
It would really mean a lot to me.
Yeah, it seems like the vibe of the Plath family was like blues, grays, because Lydia and Zach had all those different shades of blue, and Mariah wore the darkest blue dress she could possibly find to be as close to black as possible. Her dress was really cute, though. But I thought it was interesting that Ethan actually wore a different outfit,
Not the t-shirt and the jeans.
not the t-shirt and the jeans.
For
Yeah,
most
that
of
was
the day,
surprising. He could have just thrown a little suit jacket over the top.
Yeah.
Called it
most
done.
of the day he did have on, it was the uniform, but then he did change, which that's where we have an interesting scene, because that's when he's in the house getting changed, getting ready. Veronica and Micah end up in the house too, and that's where
Hmm.
they have a little kerfuffle to start
Can
things.
can we start off the fact that Ethan started it?
That
I
Yes.
went
was the main note.
I went back 4 times because I was like, I have to make sure that I'm right about this because I try to bring the facts in and I try not to like, oh, well, they started it because I don't like them. No, Ethan started it because he's like, do you have something to say to me to Veronica? It's like, you guys have microphones on.
Yeah.
You're
Also,
mic'd
what does
the
she
fuck
owe to
up.
you? She said
Right,
it about Tegan.
right.
So if she owes anybody an apology, it's Tegan, not you.
Not you, sir.
And I feel like if you're painting your girlfriend naked in a date night and showing it to your little brother, then why are you still harping on the fact that she even said anything to Micah?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He just
Whether she
had
had
to
one or
say
didn't.
something.
Ugh.
He had to
Yeah.
get his little, jab in there so that he felt like he was the big man.
Yeah. Hmm. And he's like, he was like, you have something to say to me? You think my girlfriend has an OnlyFans? And he's like, fuck you, Veronica. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, well, because she does. Like, fuck you too. And then he goes outside to Kim, like, I just told Veronica to go fuck herself. It's like, and Kim's like, that
Ooh.
wasn't part of the script today, bud.
Yeah, that was oh, you're doing too
She
much.
was like,
Wait.
did you take your microphone off first?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
that would
no.
have been right. I was waiting for her to be like, was that caught on film?
Destroy the evidence.
That's the most parenting I've seen Kim Plath do in 7 seasons.
Yes.
Well,
To
and
her grown son. Well, today let's try to focus about Lydia. And he's sitting there giggling. Like, I just tell Veronica to go for it. Like, okay, cool. I do that to people all the time. Like,
the
was this your first
juxtaposition
big experience?
and like the comparison point there too of where that's what Ethan and Veronica are up to in the house, and then we're intercutting that scene with Lydia and Zach praying in a field. So then it's just like, oh boy.
TLC was really like, there's an argument over here, and Zach and Lydia are like, well, we're just praying for calmness and clarity today. And I was like, you have no, like, that's why I said they're blissfully unaware because
Yes.
they have no idea what just happened in that farmhouse.
Well, Ethan should have checked the seating arrangement first before he decided to go run in his mouth because they're
Yeah.
sitting at the same table.
Which Veronica was the one who was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that.
Right.
We're going to need to change this up or something.
And something that I found interesting is that Micah brought up the fact that Veronica is looking for something to start an argument with. He's like, she's got two ingredients. She's got dirt and she's got water, and that makes mud. It's like insinuating she's going to start flinging mud. And what I think, and I'm going to bring this up this week too, is that if you know that there is confrontation already before you even get there, I would have just avoided Ethan at all costs. Except for the dinner table, because what's he really going to do at the reception?
I do
No.
wonder if she knew he was in the house. Just
Right.
because she did such a good job avoiding everyone the day before.
Like, it seems like maybe she didn't know.
Like they just crossed paths and he
Yeah.
took the
And
opportunity.
he started it.
Yeah.
But, like, and my thing is like, Veronica knows because they were talking about in the car how if anybody was going to reject or object to the wedding, it was going to be Isaac and Ethan. You
Yep.
already know that tensions are high because I'm sure the minute, and I'm going to tell you guys the reason why I was told the fight happened, because by the time that this all comes out, I would have already said it anyway. And it's not that anybody associated with the show told me. This is someone who attended the wedding told me this reason. But you already know, Veronica, that Ethan has high tensions because it spread like wildfire through the family group chat that there was a confrontation between Ethan, Isaac, and Kim and Lydia and Zach the night before their wedding. So when you fight fire with gasoline, it makes a bigger fire. So now you've opened up this realm that Ethan and Veronica are immediately at each other's throats before the weddings even happen.
Yeah. Well, what was the seating arrangement? I know that Lydia was struggling with this because they weren't sure if Veronica was going to be there. But then to plant her at that table
With the worst people, because there's 6 people or 8 people to a table.
Right.
So it would have been Micah and Veronica, Ethan and Tegan, Kaylin and Isaac, and then I guess we don't know who the other 2 are.
Yeah.
It was probably Kim and Ken. because Ken was
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, we spotted
That-
KK Ken.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I suspected that Kim invited KK Ken and then she just forgot to uninvite him. So that's what I pictured, was that he just showed up on that day and then Kim was like, "Oh shit. Oh yeah. Like hi, I guess."
So from what I know is that, and it's not secrets because they're all over Facebook about it. They didn't break up until April. And it was a
Oh.
very brief in April of this year. So the wedding was in February.
Yeah.
They didn't break up till April because they made this huge announcement on their Facebook about it. Because, when you have your Facebook profile public, people can see things, right?
Right.
Well, she
And
has
then
an
they
alias, right?
Oh.
yeah, Shannon Rose. That's, yeah,
But then
that,
posts pictures of herself, so we all know who Shannon Rose is.
right. I think that's the Facebook page that she was using in like season 2 and 3 to spy on Mariah and Micah.
Oh yeah.
And then she just changed it to a picture of herself, like, haha, look, I'm so slick. And it's like, people know who you are, you're on a show. But what I guess Lydia was just trying to group people together by family. Like when I got married, we had an open seating except for the head table. Like we were like, sit with who you want,
Yeah.
because I have no time, and we had a bigger wedding, but I had no time to be placing people at tables and forcing them all to sit with each other. Personally, for me, I think the only reason Veronica went to the wedding is because she was under contract and because they filmed the wedding. That was an obligation she had to. And I do understand that there will be arguments like, well, she could have just not gone and they could have still filmed her that day. That doesn't bring the drama in.
Right. It doesn't do what they're
That doesn't bring in, that's TLC wasn't, like I said, TLC wasn't there to capture their wedding. They were there to capture all of the tension and the drama happening.
Yeah, that's a good point, because last week we had some comments about the fact that Veronica was constantly in front of a camera while they were at the rehearsal. And what we were saying was, well, they're there. The cameras are there to capture what's happening. They want drama. So they're going to follow her around just in case something pops off. There's no way they're going to risk missing it.
Well, especially when Micah took off, when they knew full well that, like, that was their pact going into it, was that he will stay by her side. And now he's been gone MIA for an hour.
And
Yeah.
TLC's like, Veronica's going to explode.
Yes.
Watch. And she was just standing there like, I'm going to go by the cows. It's cold outside. I'm going back by the cows. It's cold outside. And then when Micah came back, she didn't even freak out. She was like, where have you been?
Yeah.
Like, the therapist told you we had to stay together. Like, you're not listening to the fake therapist.
Right.
It's interesting that Kim did not end up at a table with Barry, but
Of course not.
we managed to put Veronica at the worst table possible.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
that was another thing that Kim said that I was happy Veronica brought up. That when she texted Kim and said, hey, I don't want to sit at a table with Ethan, she responded, name 6 people you can sit with. Not, who do you feel comfortable sitting next to?
Right.
She had to say it in the most passive-aggressive way possible.
I would argue
Right.
that's not even passive aggressive at that point, because
It's
that's
just
just
aggressive.
It's just
straight up.
aggressive.
That's just straight up aggressive at that point.
Like, you could have, like, they could have moved Veronica and Micah, but it's the fact that they wanted a majority of the civil. Oh, or maybe we all know that Hosanna and her husband were there. They're not on camera. Maybe they were at their table. They wanted
yeah.
all the siblings together.
Well, and I'm sure
That's what it
Micah,
was.
yeah, like Micah probably made the push too, where it was like, oh, I want to sit by my brothers. And so then that becomes a consideration. And then we're not going to put Veronica's consideration above a family member's consideration.
No, never in that family.
No.
Never.
No.
But instead, let's sit them all at the same table at the reception after Veronica and Ethan just had a heated argument in the farmhouse.
When Veronica is basically considering throwing her food at these people actively at the reception. Like, let's not go that route right away.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agreed with Micah a little bit. He's like, you got to stop calling people names. Like, especially of all days today. Of all days today. Today was not the day to start slinging names around because you don't like people.
Yeah, she behaved herself better the day before.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
And you can't even say it was just because of Ethan approaching her, because it had started before they even
In
had
the
that
car.
confrontation. Yeah.
In the car. Mm-hmm.
So we have the ceremony,
Oh
and
yeah.
Ethan
Ah,
drives Lydia in the car that he's been working on seemingly all week.
The Model A.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you
I,
question if they had sped up the footage? Because it seemed
no.
like
Carly,
he
what?
drove very fast.
No.
No, that's just how fast he drove. There
Yeah.
was no way they sped that up because you can hear Lydia being like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "We're going home." And I was like, "Ethan, just drop her off," because that was not a part of the rehearsal at all. So I don't know if that was supposed to be like a surprise moment that like her brother was, because first of all, when they're walking down the aisle, okay, wasn't Isaac supposed to be the one walking with Kim?
I
Yes,
thought
that's what
so.
they rehearsed.
Yeah.
But Isaac didn't walk Kim down the aisle. Ethan did.
Interesting.
So I wonder if Isaac
Said he wasn't
was
gonna.
that he just decided he wasn't going to
Huh.
after the whole confrontation thing, and Ethan stood in, and then he ran out and got in the Model A with Lydia and Barry.
Yeah, and I think Ethan probably just had so much fun, ripping through
Tearing
the
up the farm.
yard. Yeah, ripping through the yard at the rehearsal where he was like, "Hey, now you guys can get in on the fun too." I was waiting for him to like blow out a tire because those look like those old rickety ass rubber tires that it's just
Yes.
like, yeah, you're gonna hit like a stick or a rock, and that's gonna be the end of that real quick.
Mm-mm.
But it didn't
Like,
happen.
no, it was a showboat of an entrance, I will say that. And if that's what Lydia wanted, I love it. However, wouldn't want Ethan to drive the car.
The
No,
pastor, though,
scary.
oh my God, the pastor, what he whispers to Zach, where he's like, "Well, that's quite an entrance." And
Yeah,
Zach
like this
is
wasn't planned.
Zach is so not entertained at all. It's just everything drained from his face, and he's like, "Yeah,
Well, I mean, Ethan peeled off the day before. Like, your bride to be's in there, I'd be panicking.
yeah, this is terrifying."
Yeah, and he was driving very, 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 very fast. Be like, can we just like maybe slowly make an entrance?
I don't think the
Right.
Model A has seat belts in it because
Probably
that
not.
was
She was
not a
just
standard
Getting
that
whipped around in the back seat.
that Ethan was very excited to install the safety features to update that. I don't
Right.
think that was going to be top of the list.
No. Oh, the
Windshield
dogs are
was a
fun.
priority, though.
The windshield was a priority, not the safety belts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
That made me nervous that he glued it in the morning of.
I don't know if
Yes.
he glued it,
That's
but
what it looked like.
it was glue?
I don't know. It was something
boy.
that was some
Sealant
type
or
of
something.
paste or something.
Yeah, no. 10, like, and he just finished it like an hour before the ceremony. Like, no. I'd rather walk.
It's
Thanks.
just gonna smell like the fumes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oof.
So then they have a moment at the altar where they sing together.
Ooh, the
Yes.
singing.
And it's the most awkward part of the entire thing because we get cuts to all of the family members making faces
Mhm.
as
Yeah,
they're doing
super
this.
thrilled.
Oh,
Super
my
thrilled
God.
to be there. They looked like they were so happy for the couple. They looked like they were having the time of their lives. They were sitting there just like the most sour faces.
Except for Barry.
Barry
who was
was
like,
into
Yeah, Barry
He
was
was
like,
so
Barry had like a
excited.
lighter. He was like, yes, yes, this is a joyous day. We love them. And the rest of the family, like, they might as well have just had their arms crossed and like slumped in the back of their seat, like, when is this over?
They all looked miserable. And it was almost like they forgot that they were previously in a family band where they sang alongside Lydia.
Okay.
They know the words
like,
for sure.
Thinking back on it, though, was there music that accompanied this, or was this just
I think
happening
it was a cappella.
a cappella?
It was acapella. It was
Acapella.
Pitch Perfect Plath Wedding Edition.
Oh, boy.
It was acapella. Like, I was waiting for Brittany Snow and Anna Kendrick to come out and be like, doo-doo. No,
It's
it
cups
was
time.
acapella.
Yeah.
We were joking when we were watching it that Mariah must have been so upset because Lydia is dropping a single at the altar of her wedding before Mariah has ever dropped an album.
And Mariah
Yeah.
Mariah was just upset enough that Lydia's getting married before her, and then now to be
Oh.
dropping a single at the altar, it's just an ultimate diss.
I mean, it was the ultimate diss track, if that is the case. Like, and I will say, and I brought this up, I was like, not once have they shoved anybody's music down our throats this season. It's been really refreshing. And then they hit us with the altar singing, which if that's what they wanted and they like singing together, then it was very cute. It
Yeah.
was just not for me.
It's her,
But if
yeah,
they like it, I love it.
her YouTube style.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like
it wasn't surprising.
Yeah, like that was on brand for
Yes.
Lydia Plath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounded like quite a few people jumped in except for the Plaths. They were just sitting there like, when is this over?
Well, Ethan was
Yeah.
laughing.
The
There was a
people
lot of
who
giggling.
were raised with only church music, no secular
Mhm.
music, could only sing religious music, were
Yeah.
all so turned off by having to listen to them sing at the altar together.
Like they were shocked that they would do that. Like I was expecting it.
Well, Ethan only sings originals now.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah. His Johnny Cash
Yeah.
originals.
Yeah, that's
I was
hadn't
very
thought about
relieved that they cut out. I don't know if it was ever part of their vows, but if it was, they didn't give anyone a chance to object. Thank God.
So I think it might have, the way that I grasp it was definitely a part of the original vows, and then the confrontation happened and then they cut it out.
Yep.
And they were
Smart.
like,
That's a good call.
because they knew, because even Ethan said if they would have asked if anybody objected to this wedding, state your piece now, him and Isaac would have said something.
Which, sir, be so for real. People don't really object at a wedding when they say that.
No. No.
You don't do
They
that.
don't. They were taking it so literal, like, we're gonna object. It's like,
That's our chance.
it would have caused a scene. Like, poor Zach's parents. Like, I
Yeah.
hope they're not watching this season, because I would be embarrassed if that's who the family my son married into.
Yeah, they must be horrified. They had to know a little bit about this family from the fact that they were on TV and everything that happened with Olivia. Now, like, whatever their opinion is, they could be on the side of Olivia was the problem, but I'm
Mhm.
guessing they quickly learned that that is most likely not the case from their firsthand experiences with them now.
Well, and not to mention the fact that the Platts are not quiet about anything. So they had to have known there was something going on there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Zach, because Zach is very communicative with Lydia, I'm sure he learned that from his parents. I'm sure Zach said something to his parents before
yeah.
he walked down the aisle.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
The first kiss.
The kiss.
The kiss was great.
The dip and
I will
kiss.
say that. It was a good first kiss.
Except
I've
it
seen
seemed
worse.
like Zach was a little disappointed afterwards, or maybe not disappointed. I think that he was in his head about it because he knew that people were going to be closely watching their first kiss because of all the rumors that the Plaths have started about him.
To stand in front of all of these people who the night before have hounded you yet again for the concerns of you being gay. Now you have to kiss your bride in front of all of these people. It's like a stress anxiety nightmare come to life.
Right. But it was the way that they did it with the little dip, I thought was really cute. Great first kiss for them. And then they cut the cameras over to like the interviews of Isaac and Ethan and everyone looking at the ground. Like, what, you're not watching them have their first kiss after you just cornered them in the prayer closet and try to say that you don't want this wedding to go through because you think Zach's gay, and then you're not going to watch their first kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And he's like, well, I was looking at the ground and I was looking at the bugs, and that was very interesting to me. I'm like, you're at a wedding.
Also, you couldn't watch their kiss, but you want to talk about the passionate sex that you hope that they have for years to come?
Exactly.
Odd. Very odd.
Very odd.
Barry was looking for the tongue. Barry was very into the kiss.
Barry was like, yeah, that was great.
Barry whipped out
but Barry wanted more.
Barry whipped out the opera binoculars and was like trying to get a ooh.
From the front row. He was like, I'm not close enough. I need to like bring out my binoculars and be like, yeah, that's what I call it. Like, no, Barry, no.
I think he was the only one that cried too.
Oh yeah.
It was tears of joy, though.
He was very funny to watch. I still think that he's a little bit of a snake and we don't really get to see the real him, but
this is a good season of Barry.
This is a good season of Barry.
Yeah, and he's added some humor in moments that were otherwise very uncomfortable to watch.
As long as it keeps making Kim angry, I'm cool with that.
Oh yeah, I think that's the best part of it too. Is that like
She's
the more points that Barry wins, then
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kim feels like she's losing.
Yeah, you still can't
Mhm.
convince me too that like KK Ken was there and it sounds like they weren't broken up at the time, but she probably thought I'm coming to this wedding with a date and Barry's not. So that's a one up
Right.
on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I've gotten a vibe all season that Kim was hoping Barry would want to reconcile.
Mhm.
Well, we've been saying that. We're not convinced of the divorce story.
As
It's
soon
been
as
going
it
on
happened.
too long.
Well, as soon as it happened too, I was like, are they doing it for the show? Because it seemed like weird and out of place for them. And then to find out that none of the legal stuff had gone through, and then it's been years now and there's still
Mhm.
no legal divorce. That's when it's just like, well, now it really is starting to feel like this was just a manufactured storyline.
Right. Like, what are they doing behind the scenes? Is
Yeah.
Ken a decoy?
Right?
I do think that sometimes Kim looks like she has the ick from Barry,
Yes.
but I don't know if the ick is strong enough to keep her away from keeping all the properties and all of the money that they've amassed over the years together.
100% no. 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 The ick will never keep her away from that.
No.
They
no,
took
no.
family photos, and it was nice to see that at least Kim and Barry are capable of being in a family photo together at one of their kids' weddings.
Well, yeah, and that candid
100%.
the video gram, whatever they had afterwards, they were just missing the pitchfork from being an American Gothic.
Yes. Yes.
She was like disassociating the entire time that Barry was speaking.
Barry was doing the
Yes.
same for her. So it was just a very strange interaction with the both of them.
Yeah, what I noticed is that they got pictures with Hosanna, but Hosanna doesn't want to be on the show. And I'm very thankful that TLC did blur her face out the whole time
Mhm.
because she doesn't want to be associated with the show. But then they got photos without Hosanna in it for the gram.
Yeah.
They did it for the gram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, and for the show, because did you notice that in the entryway of Barry's house, he has framed the Welcome to Plathville cover photo?
The season one.
Did?
The season one.
I'm
It's
gonna
got
have to
the
go back.
logo and everything. It's the scene where
Oh no, it's like the opening
Yeah.
logo. Yeah,
Yeah.
like where Ethan and Olivia are over on the car and then the rest of the family.
but you can see
What
it
the
in the
hell?
last was
It's
it the
so
last
weird.
episode? It's the episode where everybody's gathering at the house
that was
for
last episode.
So
yeah.
it's the beginning of the last episode when Lydia's standing in the front hallway at one point.
She had her bride sash on, bride to be sash,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
got stuck on the
door.
Yeah, stuck on the knob.
Yeah, just go back to the
Oh,
part
yeah.
where she gets stuck on the front door because
You'll see it
it's
right
up
there.
on the wall. So
What
weird.
the hell? You can't
Bizarre.
afford art. You can't like afford like Amazon has like some pretty cheap canvas. Like, let me just take the cover photo from season one and put it in a frame.
A
Yeah.
presser
I bet he
photo.
printed it off his printer too.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
it's very telling that like being on this show seems to be a big part of Barry's personality.
Barry does it for the plot for sure. Now
Yes.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make a video about it. Be like, did anybody else notice this?
Well, and then so this was weird too because then now that Zach has married Lydia officially,
Mhm.
now Kim is like, well, he's a part of the big, crazy, beautiful family that we
Loving
have.
family.
And like, so now all of the concerns, was that just like the final gauntlet that he had to go through to like
No.
earn this? I don't think so.
They're
right?
never going to stop bothering this man
No.
about things that they don't like about him.
No.
No, because next they're planning on like the old school gladiator fights that they used to have, and they're gonna put them in a coliseum. And instead of lions, it's gonna be the three brothers.
With the big padded Q-tips, yeah, American Gladiator
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, 100%. That's what's coming next. But they're gonna do it at the farm. They're gonna put the cows away because they already have it, and then they're just gonna put them in there and be like, "All right, solve it." I bet that would have solved a lot of things faster.
Dozer's going to hit you with a dodgeball right in the face. And then,
Yes.
yeah, that's how we're going to get through this.
They needed a physical outlet for their
yeah.
frustration.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
laughed at Veronica thinking that she maybe would be invited to be in the photos.
Oh,
So-
family photos.
Yeah, and I mean, so I have to say, when I was with my ex's family, I was never a part of family photos, ever in my life. And I noticed that Tegan and Kaylin were also not a part of family photos.
They were getting a little too close though, because then that was when Veronica was like, okay, if I'm not in the family photos, then they better not be. And they were getting a little
You're gravitating that
photo
direction.
adjacent now. And so it's something to keep an eye on.
100%. And I feel like on one hand, I can see why Veronica would say that because at this point, her and Micah had been together for 3 years.
Yeah.
And Kaylin and Tegan are new. They're new to the crowd. And I could see that. But also, it did not surprise me that they were not a part of any of the family photos.
Yeah. I think
not one bit.
Unless they were to have one that was all of the dating,
couples.
Right.
Yeah.
But we didn't see if they did any of that.
Right.
Yeah, I can understand that, but
not that they would be in a photo like that together. But if the opportunity were to present itself, we didn't see it.
And KK Ken would be bumbling in there. I wouldn't miss this day for the world.
That's probably why they didn't show it, because they were hiding the fact that Kim and Ken were still together.
Yeah. They don't want to talk about it. Don't address it.
And they're like, well, if we can't put Ken in there, then we can't put Tegan and Pookie and Veronica in there either. It's like, let's just do the siblings.
I will say it didn't get better for Veronica, though, because this is when Kaylin and Tegan have the great idea, well, let's go try to talk to Veronica. And
in my opinion, that was performative of them.
At that point, it's too late, because then that was what we had even said of, like, would it have been better to make up for, like, the rehearsal stuff, too, in last week's episode? Because it was everybody was talking about how, oh, nobody came up and said anything to me. Like, everybody has said that's what they're upset with. Nobody is approaching anybody else, and then everybody is upset that nobody's approaching them. So...
And Tegan, do not sit at the end of Ethan's car and be like, well, I had the opportunity to say hi to her 3 minutes ago, and I looked at her, and then she didn't look back at me, so I walked away. And then be like, well, I'm going to go up to Veronica after the ceremony, and I'm going to go talk to her. First of all, not the time and place.
Agreed.
Especially if because Tegan was the one on camera, like, oh, there was a conversation between Ethan and Veronica, and it got so heated. So why are you going to go provoke more?
Right.
And I knew it was performative. And the reason that I say it was performative, and I know they were just trying to be nice. No, they weren't. Because there's been many scenes now of the two of them, producer induced or not, shit talking Veronica also.
Oh, yeah.
And then to be like, hey, so like Veronica's talking to the camera because the camera people are focusing on who they think's going to explode first. If there's family photos going on, there's one camera over there, and then there's a camera following Veronica, because now it's like, well, the ceremony's over and they know they all have to sit together, so let's go figure out what Veronica's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And Kaylin starts walking up, and Veronica was like walking away, like she saw Kaylin following her, which is whatever. Whether the intention was malicious or not, she was like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go I'm going to go buy the cows. And the camera guy was like, oh, okay, because he was waiting for this to happen.
Right.
He was shocked. And I don't blame Veronica for walking away on that, because I think at this point she really was trying not to make a fool of herself.
Yep.
And she was like, I got to go. And Kaylin's just standing there with her little hot hands. Like, if it's 64 degrees outside, sister, you don't need those hot hands. Okay? Because now that we know what the temperature was, you do not need those hot hands. And then Tegan looks directly in the camera, breaking the fourth wall. Like, did you get that in 4K? Tegan, now we know you're being performative. You guys were doing this to start something on camera.
Yeah. That was
but
also
nobody should stand alone.
Well, it's
very
upsetting.
Janelle Brown too. She was like, "Did you get that in?" Way from the microphone. Did you get that in 4K? Like way up in the cameraman's face.
It was like, Instagram post.
Cody Brown was in the background. Like, did you get that in 4K? Like, Tegan and Kaylin were going to start something for the camera.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
It's very hypocritical that when Veronica wanted to address the issues that she was having with Barry and Mariah before the engagement, she was told this is not the time or place. But
it was okay for them.
Exactly. At Lydia's wedding. So
it doesn't make sense. It's like you can't be selective on when things can or cannot. Like it's your farm, it's your daughter's wedding, sure, but like Veronica could have easily had a conversation with Mariah and Barry off to the side, off camera, after the engagement was over.
Yep.
But because she wasn't allowed to do that, why was it okay for Tegan and Pookie to come up like, nobody should stand alone? Like, you didn't let her stand alone the whole day, the day before.
Right.
Also, that was your plan, was just to go up and say, hi, we don't think you should be standing alone because you're going to sit with us later. How about, hi, I think that it's messed up that my boyfriend walked up to you and told you to fuck off this morning. And I want you to know that I don't care about the rumor or whatever you said about me. I don't have a problem. I hope that we can just sit together and whatever is going on
and be
is not between
amicably
me
at
and
the
you.
table.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to like each other, but we're at a wedding. Like, let's just everybody chill and just sit at the table and have, you know, a little side conversations. Little, hey, how are you? How's the new house? How's Tegan's daughter? How are you and Isaac doing? Et cetera, et cetera. No, it was, well, let's go, because nobody should stand alone. Like, Tegan did not go say hi to her the day before either. So why are you being performative now?
Yeah.
Well, and also to then have that be Veronica's reaction, where Veronica probably realized, if I try to pretend to talk to these people right now, I'm not going to say nice things. And so, you know, like having a self-realization moment where it's like, I don't want to try to pretend.
Well, she's already made it clear that she doesn't like when people pretend that nothing's going on, when something needs to be addressed. And they were doing exactly what the Plaths want them to do, which is just go up and say hi.
Pretend like nothing is wrong.
Don't address the actual problem.
Ignore it.
Just, you know, set somebody off by saying hi and acting like nothing's wrong, and then you'll get your explosion out of Veronica. I do agree that I think that was what they were aiming to get at.
Set up.
They were trying to entice something happening there to make it almost be like, well, we're not the problem. And I haven't posted this bonus scene yet, but it kind of reminds me, it's the season. So this season for Plathville, every time an episode airs, that following Thursday, they're replaying the episode with bonus scenes. And they only air them on TLC. They don't put them on streaming. And this episode 8 bonus scene was Kim in the house while she was digging through that box of junk or plates or whatever it was. And she was telling Ethan that they needed to be super nice to Veronica that day to show Micah that they weren't the problem. Verbatim. Verbatim.
Yeah.
We have to be nice to Veronica so that we can show Micah that we're not the problem, when in reality, they've been the problem through every relationship so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah. Micah, unfortunately, I held out hope for him at the very beginning when he got away from the family. And then
him and Mariah.
Yeah. Mariah, it was a lost cause a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But he always just defaults to going back to them or believing kind of the bullshit that they spew. And he's doing it again where they're being manipulative in that they're doing things like this to try to make it look like, oh, it's her, it's not us.
Yes.
Right.
Something to blame.
And like I said in my recap, you can't sit through first of all, that therapy session was fake. Okay. It was so fake that therapist has been on other TLC shows, so it was filmed for the show. You can't sit there and make yourself look like a victim of not having a communicative relationship and then turn around and not communicate either. It doesn't work. So when you're sitting there and you're telling Veronica, like, well, I think you're telling the camera, well, I think Isaac and Ethan are overreacting about all of this stuff, and then you're playing it up with them to their faces. It's like, I don't believe you either.
Yeah, he does really seem like he's been on their side, but then to the camera has been trying to look more supportive of Lydia. Because
when in reality he's not.
Yeah, like he couldn't even give an answer about like if he would join them in objecting. It sounded like he would.
Right.
That if
100%.
he was going to back them if they were going to do it.
Yep, but he was going to wait for them to do it first, so it didn't look like he's the one that also agreed.
He would have decided in that moment, in that exact moment of them saying something, whether or not he would say something, which that seems like not something you should leave to a split-second decision if you're going to do something like that.
He gets it from his mama.
We did finally get a Mariah-Veronica confrontation. Or I'm sorry, Veronica
Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
The way she
Veronica.
says it, it's like a V apostrophe. Veronica.
Veronica.
Veronica. Hey, Veronica.
So Micah follows them like a little puppy dog, like,
Yes.
oh shit, this is when it's all gonna go down. Not the conversation we had in the house where everyone's exploding about stupid OnlyFans. We're gonna go because this is where Veronica's probably gonna punch Mariah in the face. Like that's how he was acting. Like, well, I'm following to make sure like nothing happens. And the conversation between Veronica and Mariah was so not what anybody thought it was going to be.
No.
I was waiting for like the friggin' fists to start flying and the fuck yous and you did this. It was a civil conversation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, agreed. I had kind of a different feeling about Micah. At first, I felt like, ugh, that's gross that he's got to follow them to listen in on the conversation.
Oh, because he needs to go report back to brother and mommy.
Yeah. But then also, you know, there's very different sides of the story when two people in this family have a conversation, and particularly when an outsider and then one of the Plaths have a conversation. So I think it was good that there was a third party present to observe what else was going on.
Well, I think
the camera crew is living.
Yes.
They were like, yes, we've been waiting for like 6 months at this point for this to happen, and it's finally happening. Now, I will give Mariah credit because she did go talk to Veronica, and she also, and then I feel like she said in her interview, I feel like there was a little bit of behind the scenes where she's like, well, I also didn't want Veronica to be standing alone.
Yeah. Sounded
So
like.
I'm going to go talk to her to make sure it's not me. And then at that point, I was like, Mariah's doing this again for Mariah.
Yep.
Yes.
1000%.
She didn't want Veronica to say that she felt uncomfortable going over to the table because of Mariah. And for some reason, Mariah very much is focused on making everything about herself whenever there's something negative going on. And
correct.
I don't really want that to come across as though it's like a narcissist thing, like, or narcissism. I'm thinking it's because she's been so beat down by her family to think that when something wrong is happening, it's her fault.
It used to be. Yeah, like for the longest time, for the good majority of her life, it had been. Anything that was wrong, it was Mariah's fault.
So she just assumed the tension that was happening was because of her, and it was really because of Ethan and Tegan and Kaylin.
Right. And that leads me to believe that Mariah was left out of a lot of it, or if she was told, because she did, well, she wasn't left out of it because she did say later in the interview chair that there's a lot of things that she heard, but she also said that she was making an effort to not involve herself. So I think that she went over to talk to Veronica to re-solidify in her heart that Veronica wasn't over here because I'm here.
Yeah.
It was because there was other things going on. But I think that Mariah actually kind of, I want to give it a 50-50, say that she actually did hear Veronica out, as to Veronica was like, you knew what was going on and you abandoned me. And I thought we were family.
The interesting part for me was where it was like Veronica had made it abundantly clear to Mariah at the time when she was going through all these struggles where she felt like she needed this support. The worst thing that you could do is to just ignore and disappear. Like, I just need something, because Mariah was basically saying she was afraid of making things worse, and that was why she withdrew. But I think in a way, Veronica kind of inadvertently tipped her hand as far as like, hey, this would be the most devastating thing. And that was what Mariah decided to do, to go through with in that way of like, okay, I'll just disappear. And that was sort of the approach. Like, that was the main takeaway here.
Right.
Mariah is incapable of repairing relationships too, because then that's what they're asking her at the end of this too. Do you want to try to, rebuild this friendship with Veronica? No, I don't think so, because Mariah has a fight with somebody and then that's the end. She cuts off contact because she doesn't know how to come back from that.
And not only that, but I found it interesting that not once was the lie brought up.
Yeah, they never talked about exactly what they were fighting about.
She was apologizing about the feelings. I'm sorry you felt that way, Veronica, that you went through this, but no responsibility as far as what her actions did to cause those feelings.
Right. Not once was because somewhere between all the stuff going on with Veronica and Micah and the stuff going on with Veronica and Mariah and Barry, somewhere in there, Mariah and Barry insinuated that Veronica was a liar, which amplified the situation already. And then, like, what I think happened is that Mariah was upset that Veronica told her stuff about her ex, and that was probably in the middle of all the shit going on between Veronica and Micah. Now Veronica and Mariah are fighting because Veronica supposedly lied about her ex, and then that started a second argument, and it was all happening at the same time. But if I were Veronica, I would have called Mariah out right then and there if we were having a civil conversation. Like, I appreciate you coming up to me and making sure that we're like on neutral ground, but you still said that I was a liar. And nothing was said of that. And if it was cut out.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no context as to why they were at odds with each other. And I do think that Mariah made it about herself. She's like, well, I'm sorry, that you feel like I did that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, but you did do that.
Yeah. And don't feel left out, even though you're kind of left out right now.
Yeah, even though we all make you feel left out. Like, don't feel left out.
Don't feel left out. Come hang out with us and come sit at the table.
And her looking around waiting for someone to come grab her for photos or something was hysterical. Like, she's just looking around with her little blankie wrapped around her, like, all right, can somebody save me, please?
Yeah, I'd like to end the conversation now.
Right.
Yeah, Mariah needs to learn how to properly apologize to people instead of
And take accountability.
Yeah, take accountability. And when you apologize, stop making yourself into a victim as you're giving the apology, because she does that every single time where it's like, well, there's something inherently wrong with me and I just hurt everybody and I was going to make the situation worse. And it's like, that's not really a genuine apology for, hey, I'm sorry, I'm taking responsibility for my actions. I handled this in a way that I shouldn't have. I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
Right. And I feel like we'll never get that out of Mariah, ever.
No.
We'll never get that out of Mariah. We'll never get that out of anyone. But it was very interesting to me, the parallel of Mariah making sure that the reason Veronica was sitting on the fence was not because she was there, the same as Amber did earlier in the episode. That's how I know it's like a learned thing in that family. Like, Amber wanted to make sure there was no bad blood between her and Veronica that day, and Mariah wanted to make sure there was no bad blood between her and Veronica that day.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why Mariah and whatever Veronica said, no matter how anybody feels about Veronica, no matter how anybody feels about Mariah, what Veronica said to Mariah was not rude. It was to the point. This is why I'm upset. I feel like you abandoned me. You were supposed to be my sister. And it's the same thing that Olivia said to Mariah in season 4.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not just Olivia. Wasn't there another friend who like emerged on Reddit who was talking back and forth with Veronica at one point about how same thing happened with me. I was friends with Mariah. We were really close, and then she just ditched me.
Like
I
in
never heard.
Tampa?
She blocked me, and I never heard from her again.
Yeah, I think it was when they were in Tampa or something.
Yeah, this is like
It's a repeated pattern. And there was something I was trying to count this season, but the repeats just keep happening. But I think by episode 2, we were at like 10 to 12 different, like, same patterns of stuff that's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just the way they're never going to be able, and I hope for Lydia and Zach, because it seems like they're doing really well.
Yeah.
But there's never going to be a good enough person to join that family or be a part of that family for the Platts.
No. And we've talked before, we've done deep dives on our Patreon about family system theory and how, I mean, that's the dynamic of this family. And if you come into it, you need to adapt into it and be part of the family system. And if you don't, and you do things to disrupt it, like Olivia and like we're seeing with Zach, and I don't really want to count Veronica just because I do feel like she's doing things that are disruptive with a bad motive in some
100%.
cases.
Now, yeah.
But, people who genuinely are just there trying to say, hey, I don't like the way I'm being treated. I don't think that we should be talking to each other like this, or this is not the way you communicate with other people. Those people are going to be ostracized and kicked out of this family.
100%. And I feel like, and I see a lot of myself in Veronica, so I have a hard time saying like, well, I don't like her anymore, because I see a lot of my younger self in her. But at the same time, I don't agree with how she acted towards the end of this episode because now there's a reason for the Platts to not make any of the issues that they've had with Zach relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she handed them a platform to say,
Mhm.
here,
Yeah.
this is,
I'm the
look,
problem.
This is
she's
what's
the
wrong.
problem.
Yeah, this is what's wrong with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
What
And
I'm
that's-
trying
and-
to
Yeah.
like what I'm trying to keep in mind with Veronica too is like the just the fact that she has been pushed to a limit here too, like as part of this
Mhm.
system. Now she was accepted, she was in, and then she's been forced out. And so like the
Mhm.
casting out part
Yeah.
is very hurtful and damaging,
It's reactive.
especially well, like, yeah, especially for a person with her history, with her life
Mhm.
experience that she's talked about, with
Mhm.
bullying and everything else that she's gone through personally. Like she is ripe for the picking as far as being exploited by this system. So like
Mhm.
that's the other side of me that like has the empathy for what she's going through, is because I know that even though she's reacting to this stuff, it's not all Veronica. A lot of it is part of just how the system has pushed her into that.
Yeah, and that's why I've mentioned a few times, and I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist or anybody, so I can't diagnose anybody, but it's very reactive and it's giving a lot of this is what reactive abuse looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that any of it is okay, but she's reacting out loud as to what's going on to her behind the scenes, but the context is being either edited out or she's not saying the context. So again, she's handing them a platter to be like, here, I'm the actual problem here. So let's figure this out, I guess. And if that's just yelling at her at the end of the season or whatever, but it's not making her look good at all.
No.
Yeah, because that leads us to the final scene that we have for this episode where
Mhm.
Micah and Isaac and Kaylin, they're just goofing around. They're taking some silly photos and
Yep.
they're having a good time. But then Veronica makes the mistake of
Mhm.
accidentally misidentifying Kaylin as Tegan,
Mhm.
and words are exchanged, names are called.
So I don't know if it was as unclear to me as it was to you guys, but did Veronica go up to them and say, while Micah was standing there with them, like, why are you with that slut? Or did she say it to Micah and Micah repeated it?
I took it as the latter.
I think
that
it was
another time where Micah
Mhm.
went back and repeated something that Veronica
That-
said to him directly.
when Isaac said
Right.
Veronica called Micah over. So whatever that conversation
Yeah.
was between Veronica and Micah, and then Micah brought it to the rest of the group.
Or they overheard because they like to insert themselves in.
Yeah.
Which, again, you should not be calling anybody on a day of someone's wedding, specifically your boyfriend's sisters, a slut that day. Whether or not you really think that or you're just trying to stir the pot, not the day to do it.
No, but I think it was very clear that she did not intentionally call Kaylin a slut.
No, she did not. She thought that Kaylin was Tegan, and she was saying to Micah, "Why are you with that slut?" AKA, "Why are you with Tegan and Isaac by yourself?"
Right.
Mhm.
And I think that's what a lot of the viewers who watch the show are going to have to be reminded that she wasn't calling Kaylin a slut. She was calling Tegan a slut, but Isaac took it that Veronica was calling Kaylin a slut.
Right.
You know, I think that was a choice on his part.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
he decided that he has a problem with Veronica already. He has
Yep.
a lot of pent up aggression because of everything that happened with the wedding with Zach and the confrontation there.
Mm-hmm.
And he has channeled all of that energy into this so that he can have a problem with Veronica and take it out on Micah.
It's the appropriate spots where it's acceptable to have that outrage leak through. And Mama Plath has made that clear, where Ethan was throwing around the tables or if he's saying something in passing to Veronica. So there are those elements where it becomes permissible to have those as the outlets.
Well, and they can't take it out on Zach today.
No.
But they can take it out on Veronica and Micah.
And they will.
Well, and
Yeah.
once you ignite one of the brothers, you're going to ignite the other one
Exactly.
because they talk. Because Isaac went right up to Ethan and told him everything that happened, And that's why after the reception, there was a huge fight between Isaac and Micah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be for next episode, which the
Hmm.
preview at the end of this episode was
It's heated.
wild. Just wild
Heated.
stuff. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yep. There was something was said, and then it was the next morning, Veronica was like, I didn't know where Micah was, and I saw that he was at the hospital. So, mind you, Veronica was not there when the fight happened. She was already at the hotel.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, she was not there. And I'm going to tell you guys, and you can leave this in. Someone who attended the wedding and was there after the reception reached out to me a couple days after the wedding, completely anonymous. I have no proof of this. This is all alleged hearsay. The alleged reason is that after Zach and Lydia and left for their honeymoon and the camera crew left for the day, there was alcohol brought to the after party reception.
Mm-hmm.
The rumor is that Kim is the one that provided the alcohol to everybody there because they like to drink and Lydia and Zach had a dry wedding.
Okay.
Now, after that, everyone's drunk and Isaac's still reeling at the fact that he thinks that Veronica called Kaylin a slut, when in reality, she was not calling Kaylin a slut. But also, Isaac was upset at the fact that Micah did not partake in the confrontation the night before the wedding and agreeing with Isaac and Ethan that he thought Zach was gay also. And I know that they're going to leave that part out, but the person who was there said they point blank or got into a fist fight, and Isaac said, and this is for not having our back when we confronted Zach last night and cornering him into admitting that he's gay.
That sounds like it tracks to me.
Yeah.
And when I watched the episode and they talked about the confrontation and how Kim was saying, well, Ethan told Zach to get out, and then Ethan was like, well, we asked him to leave politely. I was like, no, y'all were screaming at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like, at first, the whole thing of, okay, Isaac's fighting because he wants to protect his girlfriend and he doesn't like Veronica. That doesn't surprise me. It's when I heard that there was the whole thing about being gay brought up in the middle of the fight that I was like, when I watched the episode, I was like, that tracks.
The mental gymnastics though of Ethan pointing the finger at Veronica and saying that you're
Mm-hmm.
the reason why
Mm-hmm.
Isaac punched Micah in the face at an
It's
event
comical.
that you were not involved in.
She wasn't even after the party. Did she
No.
say, and that's the thing is that at the end of the day, who are we really to blame? Because if Micah went and said something to Isaac after Veronica said, why are you with that slut mistaking Kaylin for Tegan? Then Micah is the one who said it.
Yeah.
Right.
They just, of course, want to blame the woman who's
Mm-hmm.
the outsider. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what they're going to do as a family, and they're going to attack her.
It's the lightning
Right.
rod. Yeah,
And
like that's going to be the root of every single issue that they have now.
right. And not that I disagree that Veronica has been causing quite the drama because she has. I mean, she has, and she's admitted herself that she has done things and said things this season. And but to have everybody sit down in a circle and point their fingers and scream at her is something that I do not agree with how you handle things.
What's amazing to me is how directly involved Tegan is in a lot of these incidents that we see of Ethan flipping out when he backed that car out and then drove
You're just
around
standing
and
there.
turfed it. She was right in front of the car. And then
Like, are you not embarrassed?
she's sitting right next
Right.
to him as he's berating Veronica, which is
Mhm.
like, this is just
Aren't
too much.
you seeing red flags?
Yeah, like that should be alarming.
You're not even phased.
No.
And that tells me when they get into arguments, that's exactly how he treats her, because that's how he treated Olivia.
Yeah, I don't think that he's magically turned around his behavior when,
No.
when he interacts with someone that he's with in a relationship.
No.
So
No. And again, I'm not gonna defend Veronica this episode because I don't think anybody should have been calling anybody names, especially when you've come out and said, I don't like bullying and I've been bullied and then you start name calling people because then you are being a bully. But I also don't think let's all sit in a circle and then just sit here and 9 of us against one and tell Veronica every single thing she's done wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And also, Veronica said words. Isaac
Right.
committed an aggressive act of violence.
While drunk.
While drunk. You can't blame that on someone else. Those were your own actions.
Throw hands all you want, but like you can't sit there and blame anybody. You threw the first punch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they actually address that they were drinking.
That.
My guess is they do not.
Well, because Veronica was alluding to she does not do hillbilly activities. That was also included in the preview for next week. But I like to see too, what did she mean by hillbilly activities? Because they were showing like the send off for Zach and Olivia in the Model A and sparklers and stuff, and it's like
that's not what she meant.
I don't think that's what she was talking about. So they framed it that way to kind of make it a little inflammatory too.
Which they're gonna frame it that way because it's a teaser for the next episode.
Yes.
So of course they want you in on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she was referring to the fight that went down.
Exactly.
And like I said, I would be interested to see if they bring up the fact that everybody after the reception was drunk. Which in the state of Georgia, if your parent is around, you can drink underage as long as you're over the age of like 18 or 19, I think, as long as your parent is okay with it. Like it's not like a legal issue, which I don't think I think you should be 21, but that's just, I don't make the rules. I will never be a politician. So, but they're not going to address the fact that everybody was drinking, and they're not going to bring up the second part that Isaac was also mad, and that came out in his drunken rage. That Micah wasn't there when they confronted Zach the night before the wedding about the fact that they still all thought he was gay.
It's just not hard to believe that all of the frustration and aggression and anger that we saw in them in the past 2 episodes, like, didn't ultimately result in what's going to happen with Micah.
Correct. And I mean, we saw some photos of his nose. I mean, his nose did look really messed up. And there was a lot of blood. But at the same time, like, your brother caused that. And then to know that to this day and age, everything's fine just tells me everything I need to know is that they could literally kill each other and they would be like, well, it's fine. It was just a sibling fight.
Well, they had someone else to blame it on. So now they can say, it's good between us. We just got rid of her. So now we solved the problem.
And unfortunately, my prediction was correct, is that they've already put Zach on their radar hate list. So who's next? Is it Kaylin or is it Tegan? Well, Tegan and Ethan are supposedly not together anymore. So is it going to be Kaylin next? I'm confused.
Are they just waffling back and forth then with Tegan and Ethan? Because they keep like reposting stuff on Instagram and like posting things together. And so then it's just like, are they in that phase right now where it's kind of like, will together they, won't they? Not. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Personally, for me, I feel like if you break up 3 times in a year, maybe it's just not working.
Yeah, don't do that.
But everyone noticed that they were not following each other in like May. And then the season was announced, and then they refollowed each other right away and then posted their bracelets. And now they're not following each other again, but she still follows all of the family.
Interesting.
Maybe that was like, I don't know if it'd be a request from production, but Mama Plath thinks she runs her own production company. So just refollow each other before the season starts, or that'll look bad.
Yeah.
You'll ruin things.
Because it's what I have to do with KK Ken every season, too.
Yeah. I mean, me and KK Ken had hid the fact that we were pretty much still together the entire season, but I had to buy a house because it looks good for the divorce.
Exactly.
Or whatever. But yeah, it was, the episode delivered more drama than the wedding, and I think that's the most upsetting part. But like I said, if TLC really wanted to showcase the wedding, we would have had a wedding special months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, what a ride, though. I mean, it was...
It was a ride.
It's only the beginning.
It was a ride in the Model A without seatbelts.
Exactly.
We've all got whiplash now.
Yeah, so now we're going to see, I guess, the fallout of everything that happened. I want to see Ethan and Olivia in their conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Me too, just because we've seen so little of her this season. And it sounded like from the trailer, he says something to her about stopping whatever she's doing. And she says, no,
No.
I'm not going to be doing that.
I can guarantee, because I don't have any insight on that, but I can guarantee it's about his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Which,
mean,
if you FA, UFO. So
Mhm.
sign the divorce
unfortunately,
papers, please.
Yeah.
like get it over with. Like, come on, bud. Like, why are you thinking that you hold the upper hand here? Like, it just makes you look bad, my friend. But
Yeah, that's maybe one of the
it's his
more
first one. It's fine.
his
Yeah.
first
The
divorce.
first of many.
First
Because
of
there'll
many,
be
yeah.
another one. There'll be
Yeah, I
another
feel
one.
bad if he and Tegan did break up, only in that it might revert back to now he's not as enthused about getting the divorce paperwork done. And for
Yes,
that,
which is terrible.
I
Yeah.
worry for Olivia about how long she's going to be married to him.
Big problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some sort of like, after a while, can't we just get it over with since one party's not cooperating? But I know there's a lot there, and I'm not going to speak for her. But at the same time, I don't blame her that she just wants it to be.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be looking to
Yeah.
see like what state can I move to that I can
Yeah.
somehow get this done faster.
One-sided, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just an afterthought. Like, how are you okay? Like, and Tegan, as a woman, and you have a child, how are you cool with the fact that like your current boyfriend at that time or at the time is delaying everything? Well, she's probably not getting the full story, so
Yeah.
you
Or
know.
she's not in a rush to marry him.
Mm,
Maybe just to get
No,
a
she's young.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's younger than him, and she's got a child to think about, and it's like I wouldn't be rushing either, especially after. And I wonder if they broke up because of things that happened on the show,
yeah.
I've wondered
because she's
too,
watching it.
like, how is she
Right.
just going to uproot her whole life and her child and move to Cairo because he wants to go back there?
He will. I guarantee it. If he hasn't already, he
Oh,
will.
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that was a point of contention between them too.
No, I don't blame her because I'm sure she's co-parenting.
Yeah. And
It's
even if
not going to
she's
be easy.
not, you going to leave your whole support system to go live near the Plaths?
Yeah, look how well that worked out for other people.
Not so good.
Not good.
It didn't. It didn't.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was a very fun and insightful conversation.
Yes.
As
Yes,
always.
and thank you guys so much for having me back on. I had such a blast being able to just talk about this episode with not just myself and a camera. like,
Yes.
like my husband's always like, "You're yelling at yourself again." I'm like, "No, I'm yelling at them," but it's just. He's like, "But it's you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's right. It's just me."
I don't know
Yeah.
how. Yeah.
That's
like,
funny. That is such a different dynamic. And then
I would not
having
be able
nothing
to.
but the comments to interact with, I
Oh,
feel like the
gosh.
comments are like the last place we want to be looking.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's sometimes like I know that I say something that everybody's not going to agree with, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to open those comments for a couple days because if I start right away, I'm going to start getting heated and I'm
Yeah.
going to sound like I'm protecting people, and I'm not. But like, that's why I have to be like, put in the freaking Tamara from Real Housewives, but that's my opinion because I feel like that's the only way people listen. Like, this is just what I think.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, I had a blast. This was a really, really fun time, and I'm really excited for the season to be over.
Yes.
Can we focus on Cody Brown, please? I'm
Oh,
dying.
yeah,
Oh
soon,
my gosh. Yeah,
soon.
we've all got sister wives coming down the pipeline soon.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to be another
I
wild
feel
ride.
I feel like we have to do something with special forces. We gotta.
Yeah, yes, we're going to be recapping that too. So
Yes.
we'll see how long Cody sticks around. It sounds like maybe he's there for longer than we all initially thought he was going to be.
Mhm.
I think he completed it.
Oh,
He had
no.
to have. The way that he's talking in interviews is like this was such a humbling experience and blah blah blah. And he even mentioned like, well, day 3 I had a hamstring pull and then I had to ask all the athletes how to fix it. Like his ego was not letting him quit.
No. We thought that it would have to be like a catastrophic injury that they said, hey, you got to go. There's no
He's got a
staying.
knife in his other kidney.
Yeah, but then he was also saying that he was faking wheezing to make the drill instructors go easier on him.
They don't
too.
listen to that shit.
No, they don't care.
Speaking from a military wife, no, that doesn't happen. They were probably like, all right, well, then you can do 40 push-ups if you're going to keep wheezing. Let's get the wheezing over with.
But he was using Saul's RSV as a,
Oh.
I'm sure.
His excuse.
Probably.
I've had an RSV infection previously.
I just want to know if he bought a plethora of Moroccan oil while he was there in Morocco.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah, he's
industrial
going to have a
size.
meltdown about his hair 3 days in.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
I'm waiting for it. I should make a bingo card. Be like, Cody has a meltdown about his hair. Because by like Dave, like whatever pictures they took, his hair is not its curly, bouncy self. So
He's got to get some, he's got to revive it.
Revive.
sorry, you can't bring
Afterwards.
your beach wave curl cream.
They picked that out of his bag.
They were like, nope, you can't have this. You can use dirt.
Well, we're looking forward to that too, so we'll have to get together for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. See you next time.
See you.